At Restoration, of course, we've been going through a series all about discovering the rest that God wants to give us. And Laura's here to kind of share her story about discovering what that rest looks like. So, Laura, could you tell us a little bit about, your life and ministry life, even before really discovering what rest looks like?
Yeah, I think before understanding what rest is, my life looked like being really busy, taking on a lot of serving opportunities within the church, pouring into different people in my life, and giving of myself without really having any boundaries or knowing when to say no. I felt quite burnt out and exhausted in that time of my life, feeling discouraged. But a key part was also that I felt a lot of judgment towards other people who I thought weren't serving enough or in the way that I thought we were supposed to serve. And I think all of that stemmed from the belief that I had, which was that I had to earn God's love and approval. And I did that by how much I served. And in order to be a good Christian, I need to give of myself more than I was able to, or more than was wise. And that was the world that I was operating in before.
So, Laura, what led to that crisis of change? That you knew this was not healthy. I need something different here. There needs to be something else in this relationship with God.
Yeah, when I was operating in that time before that I described, I was going through really short periods of burnout where I burn out and then stop for a minute and then get back up and keep going. But at the end of 2021, I hit this wall where my body and my mind and my soul said enough and we can't keep going. And I realized that something needed to change in my life. I went into a time of deep exhaustion and depression, and through that started going to therapy and trying to figure out what was going on. And I remember a really key moment in my therapist's office was me crying and saying, I don't know who I am without the stuff that I've done, the works I do. I don't know what my identity is. And I realized it actually wasn't in God. It was in my performance and what I did for others and what I thought I was doing for God. So that was a really key point that made me start trying to figure out what is my identity, who is it in, and what does that look like going forward.
So, from that point of crisis, now having to wrestle with what does rest, faith, relationship with God look like? What has changed in your walk with Jesus now?
Yeah, rest is a gift in my life that I didn't have before. It's actually where I encounter God the most now, which wasn't true before, in the times that I rest in Him. With what I'm doing, what's changed is that now I invite God into my decision making and the choices I am making. So I ask Him, what do you want me to pick up? What do you want me to do? And that has really shifted my serving attitude. I have experienced God's grace, and because of that, I can now extend that grace to other people, where before there was judgment, and now there is grace and genuine love and compassion in my heart for others in a way I didn't have before. And that all comes from the belief that my worth is not based on what I do. I do not have to earn God's love. He loves me, and it's unconditional. And there is a freedom that I've experienced from that I've never had before. And that is what it truly means for me to rest.